let's bring the droid and Karth. Sure. Alright, let's go to the lady in the office. Didn't say anything, so I took it. Alright, Sand People has been... Alright, so... We saved Griff. Let's go to the Zerka office. This is the Zerka office, right?
Greetings again from the offices. I see that, but do you have the all-important chieftain's gaffy? That was what you agreed to get for us. Then I'll take those off your hands, but the real prize is still out there. I see that.
Yes.
Well, that is a very big headache that you've removed. I'm sure there are still sand people out there, but they'll be quieter now. I think I'll give you a bonus for this. You've more than lived up to your side of the bargain. Zerka Corporation thanks you.
Come on, give me some more.
It would be valuable to have someone on call if the sand people made another incursion. I think you're right. Yes, here's an additional reward. Once again, Zerka Corporation thanks you.
So... Signing Nico, Juhani, Soup Racing, Mission's brother. Okay, I'm gonna save. Alright, asshole, what do you want?
Ah, just the person I was hoping to see.
Save it, Griff. I'm not talking to you. I want no part of whatever you're involved in.
Okay, sis, I see you're still mad. Fair enough. I don't think you could help me with this anyway. It's more of a job for your friend here.
Get to the point.
As you may know, tack glands can be refined to a very potent powder. It's the primary ingredient in Tarisian ale. That's what makes it so strong. Of course, now that Taris is pretty much wiped from the face of the map, Tarisian ale has become somewhat scarce and very, very valuable. Luckily, I know the secret recipe.
What does this have to do with me?
I know this guy. He's with the Exchange. Now, if I give him a small sample of Tarisian ale, he says he can synthesize it and reproduce it in mass quantities. Problem is, I need one of those tack glands to make the first batch, and now that Taris is a smoking ruin, the only place to find tack is on Kashyyyk. If you can get your hands on one of those tack glands, I'll make it worth your while.
Griff, are you blind? Can't you see you're talking to a Jedi? We're out here trying to save the galaxy. We can't waste time on this.
Please, you have to help me. I promised this guy from the Exchange a sample of Tarisian ale. If I don't come through for him, he's gonna break my legs. Or worse.
Don't worry, we'll get it.
Yeah, I knew you'd come through for me. You won't regret this. You'll see. Just don't take too long, okay? This guy from the Exchange could stop by any day. I kind of told him I already had the stuff.
You're an
so
idiot.
If he shows up and I'm empty-handed, well, let's just say I really, really hope it doesn't come to that.
Alright, let's...
You're back! I knew you'd come through for me. I knew I could count on you. You do have a tech land for me, right?
Yeah, here it is.
Come to Papa, you sweet simian organ. It may not look like much, but once I turn this into a bottle of Tarisian ale, it'll end up being worth a fortune. Thanks, Mission. You won't regret helping me out with this.
Please, Griff, let this be the last time. No more cons, no more scams, no more schemes. That's all I ask.
Hey, sis, no need to worry about that. I've turned over a new leaf. From now on, I'm gonna stay out of trouble and do things right. And once we've cornered the market on Tarisian ale, good things will be heading my way. Then I'll make it up to your Mission. Just wait, you'll see. You know, once we synthesize this and start brewing Tarisian ale in mass quantities, we're gonna be looking for some investors. You give me a couple of 100 credits, and I can get you in on the ground floor. You'll get a return of, at least 20 times your investment.
You already promised me 1,000.
Hey, don't worry. You'll get your credits as soon as we start mass producing that Tarisian ale. I just wanted to know if you were interested in an even bigger payoff.
Here.
Wise move. I can see you really understand how business works. Now, when you see your chance, you jump at it, huh? That's my motto. I better get started on brewing that ale. Meet me back here later, and I'll have a down payment on what I owe you.
I don't believe any of this bullshit.
Yes, what's on your mind?
Tell me why you want revenge on Sal so badly.
I already told you, he betrayed us all.
It seems more personal than that.
Well, there is more to it. I'm sure you don't want to hear about it.
I do, if that's alright with you.
It's just that I don't talk about it very much, okay? I told you about my homeworld, Telos. 4 years ago, Saul led the Sith fleet there and demanded its surrender. The planet refused, and Saul proceeded to devastate its entire surface. Millions died. I had a wife and a son on Telos. I thought they would be safe there, but my task force arrived too late to be of much help. We didn't have enough medical supplies. The colony was burning and the dying were everywhere. I remember holding my wife and screaming for the medics, but they didn't come in time.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Of course not, how could you? I had nothing left after that, really. I devoted myself to the fleet. Hunting Saul was my only purpose. I miss them, and I know killing Saul won't bring them back. And it won't make me happy again, but I have to do it. I don't expect you to understand, but I have to pay him back for what he's done. I have to. It's all I have left.
I didn't mean to pry.
Oh, it's all right, I don't mind. You deserve some kind of, explanation.
What happened to your son?
His name was Dustle, and I don't know what happened to him. The colony was a complete ruin, and we never found any trace of him. I made inquiries and followed the reports from Telos for years, but I stopped. Anyway, that's the story, for what it's worth.
Thank you.
I've, never talked about it before to anyone. Suppose it's time I finally did.
Alright. Let's get out of here.
Kuyami Juskuna Chitanai. Ina kun mama rulira rachikun. Slimo padona. Mundi hadonga chihokabi.
Alright, let's talk to that Jawa. La 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 la. How do I become better at swoop racing? Yo! Got your guy back. Yep. Star map, helpmate. See stands, we dig for sand people, strange thing people did before. We didn't take it because dragons! Take the map. Dragon? What kind of dragon? Great! Great! Dragons! Thank you. We'll ask. Thank you. Okay. Maybe swoop racing now. You're welcome. Sucks. Alright. This is the cantina. Was there anything in the cantina? Alright, let's, does the droid shop have anything? The droid you showed me wants to murder everyone! I have some questions about the HK. Show me what you have. Computer spikes, targeting system, verb prime demolitions probe, environmental shields. Ooh, energy shield +3. Yeah, I'll take advance. I'll probably find something, but I do like that, and I will take that. Cool. Alright, I guess you don't have soup parts. I'm gonna... Now, where's that soup bite registration? Down there, alright. Alright, let's see if I could talk to more people. Let's remove. Talk to Jolee. What's up, Jolee?
Got something on your mind?
Why did you decide to come with me?
You got yourself a fast little ship? I'd forgotten what engine sounded like. The closest thing to that on Kashyyyk is an uller in mating season. Oh, frightful.
You wanted to ride my ship.
Or it could be for the free food. What's the gunk that comes out of the synthesizer on this bucket anyway? Do you never clean the darn thing?
No, seriously, tell me.
I'm old, damn it. I'm allowed to be enigmatic when I want to be. And don't you go telling me otherwise. You know, you remind me of someone else I knew ages ago. Pleasant enough fellow, great destiny, all of that. Breath like a bantha.
Did you annoy this person endlessly too?
Oh, very funny. Is it my fault that some people are so easily annoyed? Like impatient little children with blasters. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, Andor Vex was his name. The Force swirled around him like a hurricane. That's how great his destiny was.
I never heard of him. And you traveled with this man?
I did. Just because someone has the Force swirling about them doesn't always mean they have a great destiny. But it doesn't hurt to check it out. Well, it turned out that poor Andor believed a wee bit too much in the infallibility of that destiny. That overconfidence turned out to be his downfall.
Is this supposed to be some hidden meeting?
I don't know. Are you overconfident? I hadn't noticed. Even if I had, I would never comment on it. We're talking about Andor, remember? Let's see. Oh yes, Andor's downfall. I was pretty young myself when it happened. At the time, I thought that Andor's destiny couldn't be more boring.
How young are we talking about?
Well, let's just say that I was a strapping young lad with a full head of hair, and Coruscant was a small town with a well. I was just about to abandon Andor to whatever the Force intended for him when his ship was overtaken by a Dimian warship. Now, you've probably never heard of the Dimians, but at the time they were a nasty lot led by a nastier overlord named Krat. Tall fellow, big teeth. Krat has us hauled onto the bridge of his ship for questioning, and that's when I knew that Andor's destiny was at hand.
And? Oh, how did you know?
Swirling Force, remember? Jedi here. Granted, I was just interpreting the signs, but we get trained in that sort of thing, more or less. Well, Andor decides that his destiny makes him invulnerable and starts making all sorts of demands. Free me now. I'm not answering questions. Blah, blah, blah. Don't you know who I am? Krat decides he's had enough and begins crushing Andor's neck. I told the boy he should have kept his mouth shut. I think he agreed too, or this could have just been gurgling noises. No, well, anyway. Finally, Krat has enough of Andor and tosses him aside into this giant energy intake shaft. Andor gets sucked in and starts bouncing around, screaming. Maybe Andor hit something sensitive on the way down, or just didn't agree with the reactor core. Next thing I know, all the ship's alarms are ringing.
You're kidding.
Everyone panics, and I run, barely making it to the ship in time before the explosion. Krat dies horribly, and the Dimians never quite recovered. Changed the political course of the entire sector for centuries to come. I'd call that quite a destiny, wouldn't you?
And what does this have to do with you coming with me?
Well, hey, the chances may not be great, but when one has the opportunity to see something like that twice in a lifetime... Anyway, go on. My throat is dry and you're making me cranky. Shoo!
I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. Okay, we're trading you out for somebody else. Remove. Add.
Yeah, what do you want?
War stories?
I don't have as many strange stories like the last one I told you, but I do have a couple about me and the stuff I've done. In one battle above the world of Althir, my unit managed to defeat a force of Althiri 10 times our own size. That battle gained me command of an entire subsect of my clan. For 5 days, they had managed to hold off our forces, keeping us to the outer rings of their world, preventing us from attacking it directly. My task was to assault one of their flanks with a false attack. The Althiri would be drawn out by the units I had sent in. Once they had surrounded those units, the bulk of my forces would attack from the rear and defeat them in detail.
Did it work?
Things didn't go as I had planned. I saw an opening, a mistake they had made in the disposition of their forces, and took it. While fending off our main force, they had let their fleet split in two. The center of their entire fleet was left exposed. I turned my forces and assaulted the center of their fleet, decimating them.
What did they do?
Their slow, ponderous ship could not turn to face us without being overwhelmed. The command vessels were destroyed in seconds. Their ranks were thrown into chaos. It was amusing to watch the surviving ships scatter and flee. Several even tried to dive through the plane of the rings to escape us. They were shredded by the rings, or crashed into rocks, or were destroyed by our forces as we pursued them. Warriors do not flee from a battle if they are losing. They fight to the end, as we did against your Jedi Revan. Another time, maybe, I'll tell you about how the war with the Republic went. For now, let's just get on with things. Is there something else you want to know? Your choice. I'm here if you want something done right.
Learning about a lot of people today. Lots and lots of people. Actually, we haven't spoken to her.
How may I be of assistance to you, Padawan? What is it you would like to speak to me about?
Tell me about more your past.
Well, I suppose I have not talked very much about the Jedi I met back home. They, all of them, were so very invigorating.
Invigorating?
They were so very alive, so full of hope and energy and zeal. In retrospect, I can see it was a little bit tragic.
Tragic?
Well, yes. These Jedi were going to fight the Mandalorians just after they had invaded. Many of those Jedi perished in the fighting, but to us, they seemed invincible. Especially their leader, who they talked about all the time. Paragons of light and justice, sweeping away all iniquity before them. It was like looking at gods.
Jedis are not gods.
I know that. I was using poetic license. But those Jedi, they were enthralling. Everyone wanted just to touch them. Some people thought it would bring them luck. Not that the peace they brought lasted very long.
What happened?
The Jedi left. The people grew complacent. Those who had been wronged saw their chance at revenge. And so the cycle continues. The oppressed become the new generation of oppressors. The human oppressed, that is. The non-humans were never treated well in any case. We felt the brunt of both administrations.
Was it bad?
Of course it was. They took their frustrations and hate out on us, because the people they wanted had already fled, or were too well protected. But no one looks out for the injustices we suffered. Oh no, but I am sorry. I should not have outbursts like that.
As long as you don't let your anger influence you.
Don't you see? The very fact I mentioned it means it has its influence. Anger can lead to the dark side, and I must be ever careful that I do not fall back into those ways. I thank you for your support. My outburst was uncalled for, but you did not lash back at me. You are a much better Jedi than I, it would seem. But let us not speak more of this now. We should continue on our journey. Perhaps later we will talk again.
How can I help?
You wish to talk to me?
I do. I've been watching you, studying you closely to see what kind of progress you've made since your training at the hands of Master Zahn.
My progress?
I've seen how you've resisted many temptations and continue to walk the path of the light side. Very commendable. But I'm afraid you might stray from this path. You need to see what the dark side represents in its entirety. For it is what we battle. Only the wisdom of a Jedi Master can truly explain.
What are you trying to tell me?
The dark side is not simply giving in to anger, temptation, or to use the Force to destructive ends. These things only lead to the dark side. The dark side grows stronger and more insidious the closer you draw to it. It begs you to surrender to it, to release all its terrible power, and it becomes harder and harder to resist. And once you stop resisting, it's too late. It twists you up inside and turns you into a mockery of everything you once stood for.
You seem to know that temptation very well.
I am no less resistant to temptation than any other. I simply have the benefit of training that you do not. But even the training of the Jedi might not be enough to save us. We need only to look at the atrocities which have been committed by those under its sway to understand the terrible, corrupting evil of the dark side. Millions dead, and far more suffering. What sort of person would you have to become to perform such deeds gladly?
Are you saying the light side is innocent of killing?
One who serves the light does not strike down an innocent. We take arms against the dark side and the injustice that follows it only. It's so easy to think that we would never fall prey to such a horror, that we have unlimited control, vigilance, and foresight. If only that were true. The Sith have become powerful because there are many Jedi who've succumbed to the lure of the dark side and joined their cause. What greater weapon is there than to turn an enemy to your cause, to use their own knowledge against them? We are weakened while they are strengthened, so we must harden our hearts and do whatever is required to fight against the dark side, even when the battle becomes wearying.
Do whatever is required, such as?
I don't know. The vision of our future is clouded by shadows cast from the dark side. But I sense something ominous lurking in those shadows. But words alone cannot save one from the dark side. Come, we should continue with the task at hand. When the time comes, I only hope we are all strong enough to do what we must.
You're a bummer. Alright. What building is this? That's enough talking.
Chiwi aita kato. Chiwa aita kang kichana. Chiwi aita katong chicha. Kakin. Baba. Kakin. Chiwi aita. Baba.